Hello, I'm Mary Mack, the Executive Director of ACEDS, the Association of Certified E-Discovery Specialists, and I'm here today with Corey Douglas, a longtime CEDS, and I'm delighted to have a conversation with Corey because Corey's got an incredibly different background, and he's taken on some new challenges that many would find daunting. So, Corey, you've worked your way through and up in the e-discovery industry. You are now a vice president at Elijah, which is one of the leading e-discovery providers here in Florida, where we are at the University of Florida conference, e-discovery conference. Corey, you made the difficult decision to go to law school while you're working. Can you tell me a little bit about your thought process in taking that on?
Yeah, you know, it wasn't really a difficult decision because it was something that I had thought about doing previously, but getting into e-discovery just reaffirmed that I wanted to do that. So the company is owned by an attorney, so I've had the opportunity to learn a lot from him and seeing both the technical aspects of e-discovery but also the legal aspects, and it just it got to the point where I said, I want to also be a part of that legal part of it as well. So I thought, why not go ahead and take the leap and go to law school. It's been a difficult time. You know, it's stressful. There's a lot of things that, you know, I don't get to do now because I'm working full time and going to school, but I think it's been well worth it.
So e-discovery sometimes can be described as a stressful profession, although most of us experience it as positive stress. Yeah. You know, the adrenaline is moving and all of that, and then you've got the stress of law school. As you look at your fellow students, you know, and you're out working in the field, working with lawyers, as you know, for the number of years that you've been serving the legal community. Do you have any advice for your fellow students around e-discovery? Or
absolutely. You know, we had the Career Fest yesterday, and I was telling some of the students that it's important to learn this and to learn it early. I think what Bill's done here at the University of Florida is implementing the e-discovery program should be replicated around the country, because I think if you start early with law students, teaching them the technology, teaching them the terminology, teaching them the aspects of e-discovery, which essentially really is just discovery, I think that it's going to be a tremendous asset to the legal community moving forward, where you're going to have young students, well, young and old, really, coming out of law school that will have those skills already in place, that they don't have to learn them when they get in place at a law firm or a corporation.
Interesting. And do you find, I'm curious about this, do you find that attorneys treat you differently now that you're a law student than they did prior to your decision to go to law school?
Absolutely. I think, you know, one of the things I do when I come to events like this, I usually lead with the fact that I'm a law student first before I say that I am a e-discovery professional. So, you know, I think that does certainly give me a little bit more credibility in the eyes of some attorneys, and it's a great talking point too, because a lot of people are interested in how you're able to, you know, work full time and go to school, but you know, they're interested in why I chose to go to law school and why I'm in this industry. But yeah, I tell all of my fellow classmates that it's a tremendous industry to get into, because there are so few people who understand it and are, let's be honest, are interested in it enough to really want to understand it. So there's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I saw you talking with some of the students yesterday, and I could see the gleam in their eye, because they like what they see in what you're doing. So for those students and for those of us who have issues with time management, what would be your top time management tip for balancing the needs of a very demanding career, and at the same time the demands of a very exacting curriculum? What would
I would say prioritization, being able to prioritize your time, but that's also in conjunction with having excellent communication skills with your employer and your teachers. I'm in a part-time program in the evening, and most of us are career professionals who are maybe making a switch to a new career, that being the law, and we have families and work obligations, so being able to communicate to your professors that, I have a full-time job and this is my particular situation. Professors are usually very able and very happy to work with students that know that, you have other time commitments, but then also to being able to communicate your work schedule with them, but communicating your school schedule with your employer. And my employer, has been wonderful in allowing me to do what I need to do for school, and then sometimes I take some time off because I have a paper to write or something like that. And they've been fine with it because they know that the end goal is well worth it, getting my JD, and I will be a great asset to the company after that.
As you are now, and so you're able to. I would imagine now that you've been through the formal, all soup to nuts civil procedure. Have you been through?
Yeah, I'm in.
Did it feel alive to you, or was it? For me, when I was taking civil procedure back in the day, my eyes would kind of like go back in my head. But until I got into it.
Yeah, it felt alive for me. In fact, it's funny you bring that up because my civil procedure class, when we got to discovery in our textbook, there was a section about electronic discovery. And the professor said, what, I don't know a whole lot about this, but I know Corey works for an e-discovery company. So I actually got up and did a brief talk about e-discovery, and he said, I'm actually going to be out of town next week, so we're going to have a guest speaker. But he said, Corey, would you happen to know of anyone who can come and speak to the class about electronic discovery? So I found a good friend of mine, Josh Brown, that works at Greenberg. Trareg, and he came and actually spoke to our class and did a presentation on the practical aspects of e-discovery and really trying to instill in students that it's something that you're going to touch regardless of whether you're a family law attorney or whether you're an IP litigator like him or you're
antitrust.
Antitrust, it's ingrained into our society to the point, because we're all collecting data, that there's going to be every aspect of law it's going to be touched by.
Well, that's fantastic. We've certainly demonstrated a commitment to self-improvement and education, getting your SEDS early. And so getting the SEDS, did that help you at all for your in your law school studies?
I think so. I think so. The SEDS exam is it's a difficult one. It is certainly one that's challenging. Actually, the preparation for the exam was very useful. My preparation methods were very useful in some of my law school exams and test taking. So yeah, I think so. I think the content and the structure of the exam is very similar to what you might see in a law school exam.
Excellent, excellent. And what besides civil procedure is your favorite law school subject?
Oh, my favorite law school subject, I would say aviation law. I took an aviation law.
Drones.
Yeah, I took an aviation law course last semester. The professor had a wealth of experience and knowledge on the subject. He had been GC at Spirit and some other very large airlines, and now works at a firm where he focuses exclusively on aviation. And I didn't think that I would like it. I took it as an elective. Quite honestly, because I just needed the credit, but then I truly enjoyed it. It was a fascinating class. I learned a great deal about aviation and more than I ever thought I would know, actually.
Again, on the cutting edge, Corey Douglas. Thank you.
Thank you.